You're listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
If you or your patients struggle with muscle cramps, spasms, soreness, or restless leg syndrome, you're going to want to hear about our non-opioid TheraWorks Relief. TheraWorks Relief is a clinically proven and published locally acting topical solution that prevents and relieves muscle cramps, spasms, and soreness in the legs and feet. In a research study including patients diagnosed with restless leg syndrome, TheraWorks Relief was shown to reduce symptoms commonly associated with accompanying RLS, including muscle cramps and spasms. Muscle cramps are reported as a side effect of hundreds of prescription medications, from intravenous iron sucrose and conjugated estrogens to statins and diuretics. By managing muscle cramps, TheraWorks Relief supports adherence, helping patients stay on important and often life-saving medications. TheraWorks Relief comes in an easy-to-use, fast-absorbing, non-greasy foam that can prevent muscle cramps and spasms with just a few simple applications a day. To learn more about TheraWorks Relief, go to theraworksrelief.com and click on the Healthcare Professional link.
Welcome to the Income Outcome Show, a podcast publication part of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. The Income Outcome Show is dedicated to pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, pharmacy students, and all pharmacy professionals interested in maximizing their income and providing insights into living a financially free lifestyle.
All matters discussed during this podcast are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of WayPoint Strategic Advisors, LLC, and our editorial staff. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources. However, we make no representations as to its accuracy or completeness. All information and ideas should be discussed in detail with your individual advisor prior to implementation. The presence of this podcast shall in no way be construed or interpreted as a solicitation to sell or offer to sell advisory services to anyone. WayPoint Strategic Advisors, LLC is not affiliated with or endorsed by any government agency and are not engaged in the practice of law. Content should not be viewed as an offer to buy or sell any of the securities mentioned or as legal or tax advice. You should always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation.
And now here are your hosts of the Income Outcome Show, Ben Coakley with WayPoint Strategic Advisors and Joe Casselman with Pharmacist Financial.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Income Outcome Show on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I've got my compadre, Joe Casselman, here. Joe, how's the weather there in Dallas, brother?
It's pretty cold today. How about you over there in, what's that, Carolina?
Oh, yeah. Going to Carolina in my mind, right? Yeah. We are a little chilly, buddy. It was about 10 degrees when I woke up this morning.
Yeah,
it was. I think they've got this thing called a polar vortex.
Have you heard about Chicago? I mean, I saw that they're lighting the railroad tracks on fire. So, that's unbelievable. I think it'd be time to leave.
Yeah. You know, Joe, we're going to talk about a subject that could really create a polar vortex in somebody's relationship today if they're not careful, right? What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about the big holiday that's coming this month, Valentines.
All right.
How to be a financial Valentine, right? Yeah.
What it means to be a financial Valentine.
What is that? A financial Valentine? That seems like an oxymoron.
Yeah, Joe. Does that mean you go really cheap on the card? Is that what that means?
Could be.
Oh, that could be, huh? Well, you know what's interesting about it is the average couple, Joe, I don't know if you knew this or not, spends almost $150 on Valentine's Day, just as on dinner.
Wow. That actually seems kind of low.
Yeah.
Just for dinner?
Just for dinner, brother. Wow. Just for dinner.
So that doesn't include roses, chocolates, any other arrangements? Yeah.
That's just dinner, brother.
Wow.
Hey, 1-800-Flowers, called and they still want their $35 for a dozen roses, right? I mean, it can get out of control, this whole Valentine's Day thing if you're not careful. And so we're going to talk about really, this whole financial Valentine and just some things to think about, some things to consider this Valentine's Day that might actually make some financial sense instead of maxing out the credit card.
But Ben, first of all, isn't spending tons of money for Valentine's the best way to show love for your loved one? Isn't that what we're taught?
I think that's kind of what a lot of the big retailers and the big mass marketers want you to believe. Joe, we do have an issue in our society, period, about when you watch TV, about this image that you're supposed to have of yourself, the type of car you're supposed to drive, how you're supposed to look, all that. If your kids don't look like Abercrombie models, you're you're worthless to everybody, and we have a self-esteem issue in America, and it starts from the crap that's pumping through on the television, buddy. And my wife and I, Joe, we watch Zilcho television, man, because it's poison to your mind when you actually think you have to make $1 bazillion or you have to spend $150 on dinner, $35 on flowers. Oh, you got to get the card. Joe, I don't know if you've look. What's the last time you got a Hallmark card, buddy? You get one less than $10 these days. You got one on sale, or you found it out in the dumpster behind the store at this point.
Or you reused one that you received and just scratched off the previous person's.
Joe, no, I'm not ashamed to say that I've done that. Yeah. So being a financial Valentine means thinking a little bit differently about this holiday. It's a silly, silly holiday. And I'm not saying don't be a Valentine. Love your wife, love your spouse, love your significant other, whoever is your Valentine, love them. That's the point of it. But you don't have to spend a fortune to show somebody love, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're talking about commercials and everything. I feel like most of us have been trained, if you will, we put more of a value on what something's supposed to mean symbolically as opposed to what it actually means to the person we're sitting across the table from. I know people that if they received a box of chocolates in that heart-shaped thing, they probably wouldn't even want it, but it's supposed to represent love and all that. But how do you even know what if baking them chocolate chip cookies instead was really what they wanted? That's cheaper, and that's what they want.
Yeah, Joe, or just taking a walk around the block. I mean, and just catching up. There was a great book written called the 5 Love Languages. And,
I've read that many times.
If you haven't read it, I encourage you to read it out there to determine what each other love language. You may have the person who wants to go to dinner on Valentine's Day. Yes. If you're that person and that's your sweetheart, then take the person to dinner. Don't be stupid and not do that and end up costing yourself a great relationship. You may have the one person that really enjoys that. That's fine. Unfortunately, Joe, that's just one of the love languages. One of the love languages is these gift giving or receiving gifts, being taken out to dinner, getting flowers. My wife, Joe, her love language, her primary love language is quality time.
Yep.
So quality time for her can be just walking around the block, me and her for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And, and just holding hands. And that would be a perfect Valentine's Day gift for her because we don't get to do that very often anymore at this stage in our life. So it does say right here, it does say a note in its big black letters here. It says, if you really want to completely opt out of Valentine's Day, it helps to have a conversation with your significant other. I want
to mention something about those love languages because I just got engaged, Ben. I'm not sure if you know all the details yet of that. But when we first got together, we came across the love languages book, and we took the little quiz inside the book, and that determines which love language is your most priority. You know what? Both of us scored 0 on the love language of gift giving or receiving. Now, what that told me eye-openingly was anytime I give a gift to her, which I have occasionally, but really it doesn't really impact her. She likes it, but if I were to give her a $100 box of chocolates, it wouldn't affect her at all. Now, like your wife, quality time, if I said, hey, let's go walk around the block and, do whatever, that would be way more valuable and meaningful than a $100 box of chocolates.
Yeah, Joe, and way more impactful financially down the road. I actually did a quick calculation, Joe. If you put $150 away and you got 8% and you did it for 30 years, that $150, you know what it grows to?
What?
$1,509.40.
Nice.
So that $150 dinner people who are listening to this, cost you $1,500 in future savings. So there is a financial benefit of trying to figure out how to do things differently. So, Joe, let's talk about a couple of ways to really maybe do something different or try something new. Okay. What are some potential ways that you can think of? I have a couple that come to mind if you want me to go first.
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is don't go out to dinner unless that is something that your significant other really, really wants. Because I think it's way more impressive, way more cost savings, and way more fun to cook dinner for your other. That's the first thing that comes to mind. And the main reason, Ben, is because, most restaurants on Valentine's Day jack up the prices, and they rush you in there and rush you out because there's such a waiting list. It's not even fun by the time you end up doing it all.
Yeah, you end up more stressed out.
Yeah, more stressed out,
Yeah, and Joe, one of the things that Samantha and I used to do is, and we did this on Valentine's Day some, but we did a lot just as a couple. We would cook together.
Yeah.
So quality time, right? So it was her love language. So we'd find a recipe. And as I was telling you before, while we were doing the show prep today, that we did some stuff. I didn't even know where to find the ingredients. I ended up having to go to Whole Foods, Fresh Market, all these. That's my shameless plug. If Jeff Bezos, if you're listening to this, man, you owe me $100 for that plug. But we used to go to the grocery store, and we would. I'd have to ask, like, hey, where is this?
Where is that? How do you pronounce this?
Yes. Where is it? Where is that? And there was one time we were doing something like, oh no, you can only get that at the Asian store. It's interesting and it's fun.
Well, you know what? And that made me think of something. If there is a restaurant that you both like, maybe there is a restaurant in town that your significant other has been like, oh, I really want to go try that. Instead, why don't you look up that dish or look up what the menu is, find one of those dishes, and then figure out how to make it on your own. I mean, you're not going to make it the same way as, Gordon Ramsay or something, but maybe you will. I don't know. Probably more fun not making it right.
Yeah, Joe. This is we've had more shameless plugs in this one episode than we did the entire last year when we were doing this. By the way, just throwing that out there. So, Mr. Ramsey, we would like our $100. Yeah. So, anyways, again, exactly. Cook together. Cook for your significant other. If their love language is quality time. If their love language is acts of service.
Acts of service. There you go. That's
right there, you can knock a couple of those out. The whole point is that we want you to think a little bit differently about this. One of the things, I was reading this story online about this as I was doing my show prep, and it was talking about these people who went out to find a romantic dinner on Valentine's Day. The restaurant was completely booked, and they had like a 2-hour wait. And one of the partners looked at the other one and said, hey, let's just go get Chinese food and let's go watch the NBA All-Star game. Now, Joe, that would not work with my wife. Just throwing it out there.
Because of the Chinese food or the NBA?
Chinese food's okay. NBA's out.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I would have to say, hey, let's get some Chinese food. And let's go play Scrabble or go play Yahtzee.
There you go. Yahtzee. Yeah.
Or something like that, because that's kind of – or, we really got into backgammon. If you ever played backgammon, that's a very interesting play.
Don't really have big enough backyard, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you don't really need that
big. I thought you said badminton. My bad. Either or, I don't play those. That's not my Valentine.
Backgammon, Joe.
Yes,
Backgammon, not badminton. That would two different games.
Picture you playing badminton. I was like, that doesn't seem like you at all. But hey.
Yeah, hey, Joe. I've never heard of the saying, "Hey, I'm playing badminton and you're playing backgammon." I've always heard the saying, "I'm playing checkers and you're playing chess." So we just created a whole new catchphrase for everybody too. Wow.
That could be a new game,
It could be a new game. Backgammon. You're playing backgammon as you're playing badminton. Yeah. Watch for the video on our YouTube channel coming out, people.
Yes.
You'll see something brand spanking new that you've never seen before. All right. So, Joe, what are some other ways? I've got a couple things in mind that would be
what do a lot of people give as gifts? I mean, yeah, chocolates, but like, what are the stuffed animals, the teddy bears, or any kind of stuff like that? I personally, I know my woman would not want a teddy bear. But I guess, as far as gifts, I don't know, what could you give somebody, I mean, talk about making dinner together. We talk about maybe creating your own card, something like that, playing games. But as far as gifts, do we really need gifts? Is that part of it?
Well, I mean, it can be. I think it can be. I mean, it really depends again on who your spouse or significant other.
Well, let's say your spouse is love language is gift giving or receiving. What are some ideas you could give them that don't cost nearly as much as what you go buy at the Valentine store?
Well, Joe, I think it comes down to something that you take time to do. Yeah. It takes time to think about.
Yeah, there you
go. Samantha.
It's not just a click away. You got to think about it.
Exactly. Samantha loves it when I really get, I write a nice handwritten note. How about that?
Yeah.
Leave a note on her pillow.
Surprise. Ooh.
And when she comes home, or he comes home, whoever it is,
mm-hmm.
They go back to the room and they see this nice handwritten note that you took the time to write out and craft this truly appreciative message for them. That doesn't cost you anything but time.
Yeah.
And again, for a lot of people, if you give them your time,
yes,
that is more valuable. Yeah, that's more valuable than any dinner or teddy bear or pajamagram or what I mean. I used to hear all these commercials.
Yeah, I was just thinking back in high school for some reason. I was like, all that stuff that people,
Yeah, you remember all those things, and you're like, and what did you think back then? And I know everybody on this call, listening to this was thinking the same thing. Who the hell would spend money on that? And then guess what? You grow up and you start spending freaking money on it. That makes no sense. You sat there your whole life, made fun of people doing it. Now you're doing it. So let's stop.
Yeah.
Let's stop being that person.
Yeah.
Okay. And do it. So again, have a candlelight dinner.
Yeah.
Have something that you can do. Start your own new tradition that doesn't.
There you go. Something that each year you can fall back on and grow with, Instead of getting the same box of chocolates every year and spending the same restaurant bill, create your own family tradition, your own with you and your spouse, you and your significant other. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, what's interesting is one of the things that Sam and I started doing here every couple years or so, we would relive our first date. So it was kind of a cool. And the first date, I didn't really take her out anywhere because I didn't want to set the expectation in her mind.
Yeah.
I'm not taking her to a 5-diamond, Michelin rated restaurant on the first date, right? I took her somewhere better than the Waffle House or something like that. But there's my
Hey, the Waffle House isn't bad,
I know. I don't know who owns the Waffle House, but they owe us $100 now too. So we just relive, we would go out and we walked around and we went to the park.
Yeah.
And, and we relived that first date. We went and we sit on the same bench that we sat on and talked. You know what? It doesn't cost me hardly anything.
Yeah.
To do that. So you relive your first date.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
On Valentine's Day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's also a ton of resources out there. If you type in free date ideas for your town. And there's all kind of great things. Joe, the other thing that Samantha and I did, I've started doing, is we go and visit obscure things. We were traveling one time. There is a national towing museum. This is how you know you live in America when there's a museum. There's a museum for everything, right? National towing.
Like TOW?
TOW.
Okay.
Like they have a museum of all the different
Hitches?
Like tomaters. Tomaters out there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They have all these different things. And we were like, hey, why don't we go there?
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, man. We had fun. It was very interesting. The technology in tow trucks advanced very rapidly. I can tell you. I've seen it, Joe. But go to some obscure. We went to the Military History Museum of Missouri. There's another plug. Her and I went there, and it was interesting. It was the history of Missourians, and if that's the right word, and the military. So guess what, Joe? Guess how much it cost me to get in there? Zilcho. Yeah. Free.
And I tell you what, she's going to remember that for a long, long time compared to something you could have bought at the store.
Absolutely, Joe. She's going to remember that she never wants to go back to the Missouri military history of America.
I have to say, when you said Mater earlier, I was thinking Mater from Cars. Another plug there.
Yeah, exactly. Shameless plug. Disney, where you at?
Disney.
So anyway, so these are just some stuff. Some ideas that y'all can think about as you begin to create your own traditions.
Yeah, and one of the things I think, what are we kind of really talking about long term? Financially speaking, money is just money, okay? But the memories that money can create, or the not spending money, it's more about the things we do and things we remember and the great experiences that are going to stay with us long term, okay? We spend money on things now, or we spend money on things later. But I think the idea is that the best way to be a Valentine is you and your significant other are doing something you both love, And I would even go so far as to say, if you don't spend a lot of money, I'd be inclined to say, hey, babe, I could have spent $150 tonight, but instead let's put this in our vacation fund over here, our vacation jar. And let's see that some other day and go on a real vacation. So
make a great memory, not just.
So they're not thinking in the back of their head, like, why didn't he spend money on me?
Yeah, Joe, and we're coming up on our time here. We gotta let everybody get back to planning out their Valentine's Day. Yeah, Joe, I think we've been programmed.
Yeah.
To just go through the motions. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. We got to go to dinner. Blah 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 blah. Wake up, people! You're not sheep. Yep. You're not sheep. You can make different decisions.
Yep.
Don't let somebody else tell you what you have to do. And again, don't let somebody else tell you what's right for you and your significant other. Yep. And here's the thing, it's your life. You can make your decisions. You can do stuff. And forget about all the crap you see on TV. Mm-hmm. And it really would do people tremendously well. Joe, and last thing I'm going to say on this is is not going to be a shameless plug, because I'm going to pick on our favorite social media platform, Facebook.
Yeah.
I would highly encourage people to spend less time on Facebook, especially around Valentine's Day.
Tell you what, you should take a Valentine's Day break from Facebook.
That would be probably a good thing. You're going to see people posting all kind of crap about their, look at this meal my husband took me to, or my wife or my spouse or my significant other took me to. Look at all this. Oh, somebody bought me a car for Valentine's Day. Here's the thing. Every one of those people more than likely are broke as a joke.
Yep.
I have a saying, Joe, you've heard me say this: show me your friends, I'll show you your future. If your friends are the people that are posting that stuff on Facebook, you might want to find some new friends. Just throwing it out there. Find people who don't give a rip about what people think about them on Facebook. Those are the people who have money. Those are the people who think differently. And those are the people who don't give a rip what somebody tells them they should do on Valentine's Day. So that's it. I'm going to drop the mic and check out. So anyways, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, yeah. You got to get back to your badminton game anyway.
Yeah, badminton, backgammon, man. I don't know what we're going to call it. We're going to call it something awesome.
It's going to be bad regardless, yeah.
It's going to be bad. Yes, very bad. For my one view out there, I'll make sure it's worthwhile for you. Joe, and it can't be you. All right. So that's how you be a financial Valentine this year.
Yeah.
But think differently, create your own tradition. If you have any questions, you want to talk about this anyway, if you want any financial planning help, you want anything, if you're into debt up your eyeballs and you want to figure out a way to get out of it, if you've been doing the things that other people tell you to do and you're not happy with your life, Joe, who would you call?
I would call myself or yourself. And that is Joe at pharmacistfinancial.com or Ben at waypointus.com. And how do they text us now? We have a new text number, don't we?
We do. You can actually text our main line, Joe. How about technology these days?
You can text us anything, guys. A question, ask us to give you a call, anything you want.
Tell us we're idiots.
Yep.
Do something.
Send in a Valentine's idea.
Exactly. If make sure that if you I don't want to get anything that says you caused me to get divorced. Please don't. I don't want those. I don't want any of those. You can spare me those. But yeah, like I said, these are just ideas, guys. You know your significant other better than us. Here's my shameless caveat to the whole thing, Joe. For compliance purposes, you know your spouse better than us. We are not to be held responsible for anything thrown in your face, if you're spit on, or if you end up getting divorced or lose your relationship. So take all this with a grain of salt. This is a free podcast. Just throwing it out there, Joe. So anyways, well, have fun this Valentine's Day. Make your own memories.
Be creative.
Be creative, and just think differently about things. So, all right. Well, Joe, say goodbye to everybody, and I'm going to say goodbye, and we'll move on to the next topic.
Yep. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
Interested in learning more about maximizing your income and living a financially free lifestyle? Contact the Income Outcome Show today to learn more about your financial possibilities and best practices in managing your money to create opportunities for lasting wealth. Go to pharmacypodcast.com under the contact section and send us a message, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Thanks for listening to the Income Outcome Show, a podcast publication part of the Pharmacy Podcast Network.